Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Entrepreneurship Development Series. This is part of the American Spaces Support Programming, and I want to welcome you all to this session. Please drop in the chat box where you're joining us from. We want to know who is in the room, what your expectations are, and then also share the link with somebody who would benefit from this session as well. Okay, so we know that many great businesses ideas fail not because the idea is really bad, but because their foundation is usually weak, or they fail to learn about the strategies that they have to put in place to make sure that they have a sustainable business. And today we are here to learn about how to build businesses that are not only surviving but have a great and lasting impact. And so today I am here to introduce our facilitator. But before then, let me just introduce myself. My name is Estella Hilda Annaman, and I'm the coordinator for American Corner Boba. As I mentioned, this is part of the American Spaces Support Program, and a program supported by the U.S. Embassy Ghana, and then implemented by Mobile Web Ghana as well. So before we begin, our facilitator is in the person of Dr. Jibril Ustav Abubakar. Please forgive me if I change your name. And he's a lecturer in the Department of Business Administration, Faculty of Management Studies at University of Professional Studies, Accra. He has been teaching at UPSA since 2016, and he specializes in entrepreneurship, management of small and medium enterprises, and business management. He holds an MPhil in Migration Studies from the University of Ghana, Legon, and an MA in Human Resource Development from the University of Cape. So please do well to drop all your questions in the chat box, and then I will hand it over to him right now. Thank you so much. Over to you, Doc.
All right, good morning. Like Gila rightly mentioned, today's program is for us to look at how to build and grow a profitable and sustainable business in Ghana. So building businesses that create wealth, jobs, and long-term impact. To start with, by way of introduction, we look at economic growth, entrepreneurship, job creation, and sustainability. The aggregate of this are all the issues that undergird businesses in Ghana. Businesses ensure that there's economic growth. Businesses create and then help people to become entrepreneurs. Businesses also create jobs, and the issue of sustainability. That is, in doing our business, we have to ensure that the environment in which we find ourselves is sustainable. Now, these are the key words: business, business growth, profitability, sustainability. What is business? When you talk of business, you are looking at that organized effort, that activity that an individual undertakes so that he can produce either goods or services, distribute these goods and services, and then sell them to a customer. In return, he also gets something in the form of money, which is of value. That is what business is about. It's some sort of exchange between the seller and the buyer, or between the producer and the consumer, where the consumer is interested in what the producer is producing. And we'll also talk of business growth. What we are saying is that graduation in businesses, either from their startup to scale up. And this graduation we are talking of is something that we can measure is something that is measurable in terms of the company's or organization's revenue, in terms of their market presence or market share, in terms of the number of customer base, and the overall capacity to serve more customers effectively. So when we talk of business growth, is the aggregate of all these that we are talking about. Revenue, their market share, number of customers they have, their overall capacity, take more customers and serve these customers effectively. And profitability is the other key words that undergirds this topic. Profitability is the ability for a business to generate earnings and revenue. And this earnings and revenue we are talking about should exceed its total expenditure, should exceed its total cost and investment over a given period. Because if the revenue you are earning is not more than what you have spent in the form of expenses and costs, then there's no profit. And then finally, one of our key words is sustainability. Sustainability talks about the ethical way by which we go about in the production of the goods and services that we want people to enjoy. And then sustainability is the hallmark of the Sustainable Development Growth, which is supposed to end in 2030. It's calling on all of us to take action to ensure that our actions and inactions should not harm the environment. In the same vein, in our business practices, we have to also ensure that there is this sustainability. Now, understanding Ghana's business environment, what is it about? If you really want to go into business, it is very important for you to understand your customers' needs and the market trends. You don't just go into the market like that. Before you go into the market, you must be able to understand what does your customer need. What is the need of your customer? What is deficiency in the need of your customers? And what is the market trend? And the second thing you have to understand is that the area that I am going into, what are the government regulations? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the laws saying? And then also the issue of taxation, because at the end of it all, when you are able to earn profit, you'll be paying tax to the government so that it will enable the government embark on the construction of schools, roads, etc. And most importantly is for you to be able to identify the gap in the market. What are those gaps that are existing? What is it that people are looking for and they are not getting? So that when you are coming in, then you are coming in to fill that gap that hitherto has not been filled. And also, are you ready to take opportunities? Do you have that eye to see opportunities? Do you have that ears to hear that there are opportunities here and there? And the fourth and the most important one for me is what we call the competitive analysis. Can you become competitive on the markets? Or when you just enter the market, the little competition that you meet, then you fool up. So basically, in order for you to be able to understand business environment in Ghana, it is also important to look at these four key issues that we have mentioned: customer needs and market trends, government regulations and taxation, market gaps and opportunities, and competitor analysis. Now, assuming you want to go into business in Ghana, at least these are the key areas that exist that you can go into. We have the agriculture, which forms the backbone of Ghana's economy through food production and export crops, where we are able to get, some foreign exchange coming into the country. And we also have another sector that is the retail and trade, where you are supposed to be retailing, go and buy and come break it down and sell, or where you will engage in another buying and selling in a different method altogether. And this normally thrives in a vibrant local market and a growing consumer base. So this can do well where we are in, or we find ourselves in a local market, and that local market is not stagnant, it's a growing one. And then it has a larger consumer base. And one can also venture into the technology and digital sector. Whether we like it or not, we are in the fourth industrial revolution, where whatever you are doing, our whole life is being controlled by the internet. So for that matter, technology is one of the lucrative areas that one can go into. Rapidly expanding with mobile money, e-commerce, and software development, etc., are issues that one can venture into when you want to go into the technology and digital sector. Another key sector that you can look at is the real estate. We are all aware that a lot of people, especially in Accra, are looking for sleeping place and they can't find. And all that they do is that to go and then rent where the rent is so exorbitant that they cannot afford. So one area by which one can cash on and make some money and earn some profit is to enter into the real estate, because this one also supports urbanization and development projects. And the last but not the least is the transportation sector and logistics. The movement of people from one place to the other, and then the provision of logistics of how some goods and services or whatever it is can move from one place to the other. The issue of distribution, the issue of transportation, the issue of fueling, and all those things forms under logistics. So basically, these are the areas that an individual can enter into in case you are considering becoming a businessman or an entrepreneur. Now, starting a business in Ghana. If you want to start a business, what do? The first and the most important thing you have to do is to develop your idea. Ideas are not developed in a day. Ideas are not developed in 2 days. Ideas are not developed in a week. It takes a longer period of time. What are you trying to develop? You are trying to identify a viable business idea that solves a real problem in your community. What is the problem in my community that I want to solve? What is the problem people are facing? What is the pain that people are going through? That if I am able to bring solution to it, they are ready to pay for it. And like I indicated earlier on, an idea is not something that comes to you and goes. No, at times it comes to you and goes, comes to you and goes, it comes to you and goes. I mean, it will take a period of time, and not to take you long. The long and short of it is that a good idea must finally be validated. A good business idea must finally be validated. That yes, this idea is something that when I send it onto the market, there is the high possibility that it will solve people's problem, and then I will earn some money from it. And having gotten that idea, the next thing you are supposed to do is to draw your business plan. Your business plan is your architecture. How is my business going to be? And when you talk of business plan, there is no one single format of drawing business plan. There are several types of business plans that we have. But that's all the same. A business plan must outline your vision. A business plan must also let us know what your goals are. A business plan must also tell us what your strategy is. And any standard business plan should first of all let us understand the executive summary. What is it in that you want us to read? And also a business plan in most cases should have what we call the 12 M's. The issue of money, the issue of market, the issue of merchandise, the issue of milestone. Name them. Name them. And having gotten your business plan, because in some cases, some banks Before they even agree to give you loan, they will want to see your business plan, because your business plan indicates that you are a serious business person, because you are detailing them, all that it is in your head, abstract, and putting it on paper and telling them how you are going to journey in your business. And the next thing you are supposed to consider is registering the business. If you are going to register the business, you register your business with Register General, or the Register General Department and the Revenue Authority. The Register General Department is by law mandated to register all businesses, whether it is sole proprietor, whether it is partnership or company. And you are expected to register with the Revenue Authority, what we call GRA, for the purpose of the payment of tax. I mentioned earlier on that when you work at the end of the period and then you earn money, the tax authority has to come, or you are supposed to go and make payment. Now, the fourth issue is for you to obtain license. Some of the businesses you cannot just go in because they are not in the open market. We have open market where there is free entry, there is free exit. You just go in and then start doing business without applying to anybody. But there are some of the businesses you are supposed to obtain license. You are supposed to obtain license either from the district assembly or from authority, relevant authorities, or from regulators. You can't just get up today and say, I want to go and open a filling station. No. You must obtain license. I want to go and then start operating a gas fuel station. No. You must obtain license. There are certain what they call the businesses you need to obtain license before you do. Even with some, when you even obtain license from the regulators, when you come, the local district assembly or the municipal assembly, they have to also give you license. So when you want to start a business, please take note of this. You need to first of all develop your idea, create a business plan, register your business, and obtain license where it is necessary to do that. Like I've just spoken about this, Register General Department, they handle business name registration and incorporation. The GRA authority, they tax registration, they provide what we call TIN. That is your TIN number, which you are supposed to be using when you are paying tax or when you are filing your tax returns. And then the Metropolitan or Municipal Assembly are the local operating permits and licenses. They give you this license to operate. Now, building a profitable business. How do you build a profitable business? One way by which you can build a profitable business is to ensure that the goods you are producing and the service that you are rendering are of quality. Whatever you are producing, whether it is goods, whether it's product, whether it's service, is of quality. And deliver high quality product and excellent customer services. Have you ever asked yourself why two people are selling wache at one place and people are trooping to one person and they are not going to the other? Ask yourself this question. Maybe where they are trooping in, there are certain issues or there are certain qualities that the woman is ensuring, which the other woman is not ensuring. That is quality. Have you ever asked yourself why two people are rendering services? Either barbering shop, either a lawyer, either a teacher, or whatever it is, and people are trooping to this particular person and they are not going to the other person? Is because of quality. It's because of the way you go about delivering your services. The next thing you are supposed to do is competitive pricing. How competitive is your price? When people compare what they are paying for your price vis-a-vis other price, how competitive it is. We will come to the issue of competition here in our what they call a coming slide. But if you want to build a profitable business, make sure that your price is competitive. Value-based pricing with sustainable margins. At the same time, your price is competitive, then you are also able to earn something out of it. So that at the end of the period or at the end of the year, the number of times you buy and sell will be more. And as the number of times you are buying and selling is more, then profit margin is increasing. Why? Because your price is competitive. And the third way by which you can build your profit is what we call cost reduction. You have to try as much as possible to make sure that the final output, the cost is reduced. You have to reduce wastage. You have to ensure that raw material is not being stolen. You have to ensure that the raw material meant for production goes into production. Because if you are not able to reduce cost, your final product will be high and the cost per unit will be high. And for that matter, you will never become competitive. So that is why it is important that you try as much as possible to reduce cost to the barest minimum. So when you are able to reduce cost to the barest minimum, then you become competitive. And the fourth one has to do with the marketing and sales strategies. You have to know something about marketing. You have to know something about sales. And you need to also leverage on the social media and branding so that you are able to market what you are selling to the consumer. So I indicated earlier on that whether we like it or not, the fourth industrial revolution is with us here. So marketing can leverage on the fourth industrial revolution and make sure that we increase our sales. So when you are able to do this, put this together, the aggregate of this will help you build profitable business, ensure quality and service, ensure competitive pricing, ensure that cost per unit is reduced. If cost per unit is reduced, price per unit will also reduce and you become competitive. And the issue of marketing and sales, you have to use the social media and also try as much as you can to brand your business. The issue of marketing is not about advertising, it's about branding. What experience do you want your consumers to go with? What do you want consumers to be thinking about your product? Now, another way by which one can build a sustainable business is to take care of certain financial management essentials. Very, very important. For some of us, we do not differentiate between ourselves and our businesses. Our own businesses, our light bills, our businesses or stores or whatever it is bills are all lumped together. That is wrong. That is wrong. The very day that you start doing your business, the money that you have invested in the business is called capital or is called equity. It's not for you anymore. You have entrusted it into the business. So you have, even though you are a sole proprietor, you need to separate the business activity from your own household activity. You cannot be taking that money that you are selling to be given to your kids to go to school, to pay school fees. No. It should be something different, but not from the money that you have entrusted into the business called capital. So some of the financial essentials you need to know is to control your expenses. Every CD going out, you have to ask yourself, where is this one CD going to? Is it towards bringing in revenue for the business? Is it towards paying expenses for the business? And also try as much as possible to eliminate waste. Very important. Control your expenses. Track every CD that is going out. This CD going out, is it going out to bring revenue? Is it going out to pay expenses? Is it paying ECG for the electricity we consume? Is it going out to buy raw materials? Is it going about to buy what do you call it, stocks, so that we stock our store or whatever it is, and also eliminate waste? The second one is for you to manage cash flow, monitor money in and out daily. Cash flow is one of the important, financial management that businesses must keep. Income statement, for instance, you can see huge profit there. But in some cases, the accountants normally bloat the figure. They bloat the figure. For what reason are they doing that? Maybe because they want people to come and invest and partner with them. Because when you see that this business is doing well, what will you do? You come and then invest your money, only to realize that no, the business is not doing well in reality. So the best account or the best financial statement to keep is cash flow, because cash flow deals with only what you call it, cash and cash equivalents. Cash flow tells the business community how liquid you are. Cash flow shows the business community whether you have money. When they are looking for money, you can easily go to the bank and pay, or there's money in your Momo or whatever. Plenty money. Liquid. Liquidity in accounting terms means that you have cash or cash equivalent, something that you can easily convert into cash. So this is an account that you need to keep. There are a lot of businesses, they have a lot of land, they have big vineyard, they have big trucks and all those things. Yet when it comes to cash, they are seriously deficient. They are seriously deficient when it comes to what they call it cash flow. So when we talk of cash flow, it's one of the important business financial statement that you need to keep. Because a lot of people trust cash flow more than the balance sheet. They trust cash flow more than the income statement, because these accounts that I have mentioned can be window dressed. And also avoid unnecessary debts. You have to avoid unnecessary debts. You borrow when it is good for you to borrow. You borrow when it is in the interest of the business. So you have to avoid unnecessary debt. Because when you borrow, the more you borrow, it will go and affect your cash flow, and then it will also affect your current ratio, so that your debtors are more than your creditors. And when all these people are coming in for their money, the only thing you can do is to close down. Because the debt that you have gone to contract, the debt that you have gone to take, is more than the activity that you are running. And the last one is, whenever you are in business, please have in mind that I am going to expand. You must have the plan for expansion. So if you have the plan for expansion, what do? I need more funding. I need more option for growth. I need either to go into partnership or what have you. Now, financial tips for success. You are expected to keep track of all your records. Sorry. If only you are or you want to be successful in your finances, please keep accurate records. Track income, track expenses, track receipts, track invoices. When we are even talking of record, whatever you buy in the business, whether it is a motorbike, whether it is a bicycle, whatever it is, keep track of it. Open an account for it. And know that, oh, within this 1 year, the bicycle or the motor van or whatever it is due for servicing. The problem we have in this part of the world, for that matter, Ghana, is that we do not keep records. At the household level, at the business level, even at the national level, the issue of records are things that we do not keep. And once you cannot keep record of your business, how do you track your income? Once you cannot keep record of your business, how do you track the expenses that you have made over the period? Once you cannot track record of your business, how do you track the receipt, the money that you have? If you don't track record, how do you know that this is the day I sold goods to A, B, C, and this is when I am expected to go for my money? So the issue of record is an issue that you must take so serious, because anybody who comes to you knows that this person is serious, because he keeps record of everything, every penny that goes out, anything that he buys, he keeps record of it. It's not my property, it's the property of the business. I am keeping the record for the purpose of depreciating it when it is due. So the issue of record in businesses is very, very important if only you want to succeed. We have serious issues about records, family level, to business level, to the international level. No? Kofi Annan once said that any country that does not keep record is like somebody who is driving a car without a dashboard. You can see how dangerous is it. When you are driving a car without a dashboard, how do you know that you are running out of fuel? How do you know you are speeding? How do you know that your car is overheating and all those things? So the issue of keeping record is very, very important. If you don't keep a record, that means that you are just driving your business like the way somebody is driving his car without a dashboard. I think I already mentioned the separate your finances. The finances of the business should be different from the finances of your what do you call it, your household. So for that matter, you must have a dedicated bank account in the name of your business. The third one is for you to invest and reinvest. You invest and reinvest. The profit that you are making, you are not going to what do you call it, consume everything. Save some. Remember, somewhere along the line, we said that you have to plan for what? For expansion. So that as you are saving, you are getting interest. When it's time for you to expand, then you reinvest it. That's what we call recapitalization. You reinvest it. And the last financial tip for success is whatever you are going to do, you must budget it in advance. You must budget it in advance. This is what I want to do. This is where I am going to get what I want to do to meet it. So budgeting is very, very important. Even as a country, we budget. Our Minister of Finance normally comes to budget, to what you call to Parliament, to read out the budget for them. That is something that they want to happen in the coming years or in the coming year. So also as a business, you must budget. I want to do this next year. I want to do this next year. I want to employ some other people. I want to buy computers. I want to do this. I want to do this. So that when you are doing it, is already in your budget and you are tracking it. Your budget is tracking it. Hello? This is not making sense. Okay. Now, these are some of the executive marketing strategies. What are some of the strategies that you will use in marketing? The first one is for you to engage in a thorough market research. When we talk about thorough market research, it's not just going into the market and coming out of the market. No, you must have knowledge about what is happening, the market trends. Who are the movers and shakers? Who are the customers? Who are the competitors? Who are even the larger consumers? So market research is about knowing what is happening. It's about having an insight of what is happening in the market. And in the market means in the market in which you are operating. What are you into? What you are into is your market. You can go and be researching about everything in the market. No, you need to go to the market and research about things or about the industry in which you are. Are you into selling of what you call iron rod, cement, or whatever it is? Are you into selling of ice creams? Are you into the momo? Whatever. So wherever you are you into agri? And even agri, there's so specifically which part of agri? Are you into transport? Specifically, which part of what do you call it? So you go into that market and understand the market dynamics. The second one is what we call the guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing aims at creating low-cost promotional tactics. Guerrilla marketing is that type of marketing that defies all laws of marketing. You are doing things differently here in order to be able to rake the bag and get a lot of what you call it, customers. So guerrilla marketing, in short, is just about doing what other people haven't done. Guerrilla marketing is about things that you are doing in order to sell your goods and services that defies the normal way of going about sales. One important thing is what you call it. You need to build your brand. You need to build your brand. Brand is very, very important. The brand is the way people, or what do you call it, customers, see your product. So even as a human being, the way we brand ourselves is the way people are going to buy us. So also as a business, you need to brand. You need to build a brand, what do you call it, on your product. And also, you have to also embrace digital marketing, social media, content, and online presence. These are things that you are supposed to do if only you want your marketing strategy to become effective. Engage in market research. Whatever you are seeing, you are not seeing it as a, what do you call it, an armchair researcher who sits in the office and does whatever it is, but that whatever you are doing is informed from the information, is informed from the data that you are getting from the market. Also engage yourself in guerrilla marketing. Indicated guerrilla marketing is that type of marketing that defies the principles of marketing. And then brand building is also another important thing that you are supposed to look at. And finally, digital marketing. Okay. Now we are talking about business growth strategy. Business growth strategy. Business growth strategy. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Any of these that you take, whether differentiation strategy, whether cost leadership strategy, whether focus group strategy, will go a long way to build your competitive advantage. And the issue about business is about sustainable competitive advantage. If you don't have that competitive advantage in your market space, if you don't have competitive advantage in your market space, you are going to fall up in the next few years to come. So it is important that you build sustainable competitive advantage. How do you build that? Michael Porter tells us that there are basically 2 ways of building competitive advantage. And that these are further broken into what we call it a 3. The first one is to either use focus strategy, okay? To either use focus strategy. And the second put together is what Michael Porter is talking about. Either you use cost leadership or differentiation. Either you use cost leadership or differentiation. Now, these 3 different strategies for growth can mostly be exemplified in the automobile industry. But now let's understand what differentiation is, what cost leadership is, what focus group is, before we will come and, situate it within the automobile industry as I'm talking about. When we talk about differentiation, it is you, the business person, trying to offer a unique product that stands out. Trying to offer a unique product that stands out. What are we talking about here? If you are producing a phone, you want to ensure that you will add something that will make the phone Samsung unique from the other, so that people here are not much bothered about the price. That all that they want is that particular feature that they want is on your products. So the issue of differentiation strategy is for you to be able to come out or offer a unique product, and that product must stand out, and that product has a feature, and that product has a utility that others don't have. So when you are using differentiation, in this case, the consumer is ready to pay. The consumer will not be complaining about price, because the product that he is buying has that particular characteristics that he is looking for. So Michael Porter is saying that you either use differentiation or you use what he calls leadership. And cost leadership means that you want to be as much as possible the lowest person offering the lowest cost within your industry. The lowest cost producer. So here, you either use differentiation or cost leadership. And the third one is focus strategy. As the name implies, in this case, you focus on a particular people in the market. You will carve a niche. You look at the people who were hitherto not served, and then you now want to serve them. So any of these, if you are able to succeed, is going to lead to what we call sustainable competitive advantage. Sustainable competitive advantage. Now, before we even come to the sustainable competitive advantage and delve into it, now let's situate what I have just spoken about within the automobile industry. Most of the what we call the producers of cars use one of these strategies. When you look at BMW, Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz, for instance, they are using differentiation strategy. Insofar as consumers of BMW, insofar as consumers of Jaguar will see certain unique characteristics that they want, the issue of price does not matter much to them. That is what we call differentiation strategy. What about cost leadership? Cost leadership is to become the lowest cost producer. And the automobile industry that normally use cost leadership are the what they call it cars. The Nissans, the Fords, the Hondas, the Toyotas, and what have you. Because here people are much concerned about the cost. So when you are a leader, cost leader, definitely your business will grow. And focus strategy, as the name implies, is where you focus on a particular group of people whom by your research got to know that these people are not served. So you carve a niche for yourself and serve those people. So any of these that you will use will lead to what we call sustainable competitive advantage. And I mentioned the fact that the issue about being in business is the issue of competitive advantage. If you don't have competitive advantage in the business, then forget it. And the competitive advantage we are talking about must be sustainable. It must not be something one-off. Sustainability means that it must be appreciated. It must be growing. You must do all that you got to make sure that you maintain the momentum of the competitive advantage. When your competitive advantage begins to fall, try as much as possible to see how you can raise it up. Now, how do you also build the competitive advantage? You can build the competitive advantage by using your core competence. What are core competence? Core competence are those factors that you can easily manipulate them in your organization to your advantage. That is what we call core competence. If you are running a restaurant, it's not within your own what do you call it, control, to make sure that you ensure that the environment is clean, is nice. It's not within your own control to make sure that your food looks palatable. It's not within your own control to make sure that your service are nice to people. These are what we call core competence. The decision is yours. Which of them are you going to use? So when you are using your core competence tool, you are also building a sustainable competitive advantage. Now, expansion and scaling strategy. We mentioned somewhere that the aim is for one to also have in mind that, no, I'm going to expand. After all, no business wants to be stagnant. How do you expand? You have to adopt technology. I indicated that we are in the fourth industrial revolution. There is nothing we can do today without leveraging on technology. So if you want to expand as much as possible, leverage on mobile money, leverage on e-commerce, leverage on social media marketing to reach wider market and streamline operation. And as part of trying to expand and scale up, you have to also think about going into strategic partnership with others. You have to enter into alliances, form alliance with complementary businesses to share resources, access new customer bases, and enhance market competitiveness. You remember the alliances between Tigo and Airtel is part of scaling. Tigo realized that they cannot do it all alone, right? So also the other. So you have to also think of strategic partnership if you want to what? Scale up. And one way by which you can also scale up is to try as much as possible to expand your markets. Expand your market. Don't just be on one particular market. Go and find new markets. If you are in Medina market, go to Nima market. Go to Kaneshie market. By so doing, you are expanding. Your product is known in Medina market. Your product is known in Nima market. Your product is known in Kaneshie market. Your product is known in Agbogbloshie market. So that is part of expansion. So you are trying to find new markets instead of depending on the old ones. And if you also want to expand, it is also very important to think about the staff and service excellence. You have to make sure that your staff are continuously being trained. You have to give them the training. You have to give them a professional, what do you call it, training. Let them develop. Let them try as much as possible to deliver exceptional customer services. Let them try as much as possible to build brand loyalty. So as part of trying to expand and scale, the strategies are, you cannot leave out technology adoption. You can say that you are what do you call it, what people call it BBC, born before computer, learn it. If you cannot learn it, get an expert who can go into it and help you. Because whether we like it or not, today technology is part of what we need to adopt it in all that we are doing. You have to also think about going to strategic partnership as part of your expansion and scaling. You have to also try as much as possible to expand the markets. You have to also give training to your staff. Now, what are some of the sustainability practices that you are expected to be observing as a business? Ethical business operation. The issue of ethics is broad. What is good? What is bad? What is right? What is wrong? In your operation, please observe those things. You build trust through transparency. Whatever you are doing must be transparent. You can't build a wall, a big wall in an area people don't even know what is happening there. So there must be an element of ethics in your business operation. It will be part of sustainability. And you must also be environmentally responsible. You shouldn't do anything that will harm the environment. You shouldn't do anything that will degrade the environment. You shouldn't do anything that will lead to pollution. Reduce waste, conserve resources. And as I indicated earlier on, environmental responsibility is part of the Sustainable Development Group, which is supposed to end in 2030. So we have to also show environmental responsibility in our businesses. That shows that we are engaging in sustainability practices. We have to also ensure that our employee welfare is the best. We have to ensure fair wages. We have to say safe conditions at work. We have to give them training. We have to promote them when the promotion is due. We have to also remember that the people that are working at you are uncles, are mothers, are grandpas. They have social responsibilities. As much as possible, if you can be of help in that direction, is part of employee welfare. Allow them to be part of any association that they want to be, other trade unions or whatever. And there should be also community involvement. The community in which you are operating, let them see, let them feel your presence. Help them where the need arises. Give back to the community what the community is giving to you. Sponsor events in the community. Mentor others in the community. So when you do this, then you are engaging yourself in community development. And the aggregate of all these things will lead to what we call sustainability practice. Now, what are the challenges of business environment in Ghana? We all know that accessing capital is a big challenge that we have in Ghana. For one to get capital in order to fund a startup business is a hidden tax. It's a hidden tax. So when you go to certain, what they call it, institutions like banks, you will be asking for some collateral securities which you don't have. So access to capital is a big challenge. And another challenge for the business environment in Ghana is the issue of inflation, rising costs, eroding profit margins. The cost of inflation. Thank God we are told that now inflation is coming down. As of 2 or 3 years ago, you can see the way things are rising. The price of rice, the price of oil, the price of tomatoes, and all those things. If you are an importer, you import something from outside before it comes here, the price is increased. Another challenge that businesses have is competition. Competition because the market is saturated, so that businesses are engaging in what we call price wars. But in the middle of this competition, you can still find, a gap. You can still find a niche for yourself. And the fourth challenge is about regulations. The regulations are too many. The regulations are not easy to, to abide by. There are complex bureaucratic processes that is making businesses so difficult to operate in the country. And the last but not the least is not getting the customers, but how to retain the customers. It's not getting the customers, but retention is very important. The only way by which you can retain them is building lasting loyalty. And this can be done at even an emotional level where your customers that you have goes beyond business. So basically, these are the challenges in Ghana's business environment. Thank you so much for listening. Then it's time for question and answers.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. This has been really, really insightful. I see someone clapping. Thank you for giving us a clap, Oyina. Right, thank you so much. And so it's time for questions. Please, if you have any question for Doc, you can just drop it in the chat box so that we can. Okay, I think I see that somebody has already done that already. So we have the reality Please. Okay, so we can take a question. I think we have one from Felix. Felix is asking, they said that the reality is that the money we invest in our business is most of all the time what we have. So if I am not allowed to use the money the business generates, how do I survive? Yeah. Over to you, Doc.
Ella, is this question for me?
Yes, please, it's for you.
No, I mean, whatever be the case, if you have 2,000 Ghana cedis, all that we are saying is that once you said, I am going to use 1,000 Ghana cedi for my business, that 1,000 Ghana cedi, it must be for your business. Whatever you expend, that 1,000 Ghana cedis should be to enhance or to bring in revenue for the business. That 1,000 Ghana cedis shouldn't be part of the money that you are using to buy cocoa. That 1,000 Ghana cedis should use to be sending tithe to churches or mosque. No, that's all that we are saying. You must be able to discipline yourself financially. This 1,000 Ghana cedis, I want it to grow. That's the point that we are making. Okay, that is what I have. If anybody has something to ask, fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that response. So we have another one from Elijah. He's saying that my question is most of the time we have the idea, very great one, but even the capital to start becomes a problem. How do we deal with that? You have that great idea, but stagnated by finance.
Very well. So if you have a very, good idea, and then you don't have the finance, why can't you look for somebody who doesn't have the idea, but he has finance? Are we together? You can look for somebody who doesn't have the idea, yes, he has the money. That is the definition of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur normally moves between those with the resources without business idea, and link them to those who have business idea, yet they don't have the money. And I always told my class that the reason why NAM1 succeeded in Ghana is because he operated on this principle. He knows that people have money, they don't have the business idea. So let me come up with this business idea and scam people. And that's exactly what happened. So if you have business idea, please try as much as possible to sell your business ideas to friends, family, and members, and see how they can help you. If not, your business idea that you are having, I mean, it will get rust. Thank you so much.
Okay, so you tell us that we should find a way to collaborate with someone who actually has the power to finance, and then we can still the percentage at the end of the day. Okay. All right. I think we can take one last question if anyone has one. And okay, so I think that there's one on my table, Doc. So when it comes to validating an idea, how long do you think one has to do? One has to validate an idea to know that this is something that is good and I can put it in the market. You know, also to avoid being in that particular stage for a very long time. How long should one give themselves as a startup? Yeah.
Okay, very well. If you have an idea, it is something that is abstract. It is something that that you cannot even explain to some people what you are feeling about the product, what you are feeling about the service, what you are feeling about the joke that you want to stage, what you are feeling about the solo that you want to start, producing. Because you want to make it to stand out. Because this is an idea that keeps on coming. It keeps on coming. It keeps on coming. If you are eating, the idea is coming. If you are sleeping, you wake up, the idea is coming. If you are even in your washroom, the idea is coming. And for you to be able to validate what your idea is, whether it is not a mirage, whether it's not going to be nine day wonders, or what do they call it, you need to validate it. One way by which you can validate it is to test run it. Just run it. People will see and tell you, do this, add this, take this off. You think those who normally stand on the stage and then stage a joke or whatever it is, they just think about it and come on the stage and start. No. So when you validate it, there is something we are called, what we call, the triggering event. As an entrepreneur, you have validated your idea that, look, this thing, I can do it. But that you have to wait for what we call the triggering event. The triggering event is the day that you need to come out and showcase your idea. The day that you're supposed to come and showcase your idea. I've been giving myself, my student an example. When was the first time we heard about the Indomie? Indomie has been there. But as some of us identify Indomie with what they call school children who are having a sporting activity. Is that not the case? Where they came and shared to them, and it became a household name. Now children are interested in what they call it Indomie, and even now the elderly are interested in Indomie. So that is a triggering event for them. So when you validate your idea, you have to wait for the triggering event, because if you are an entrepreneur or a serious business person, your eyes and your ears will be on the ground for programs of such nature, so that you go and showcase what you have.
Thank you so much for sharing those nuggets with us also. And I think there's another one from Francis. He's asking that, I want to know, doing business as a beginner, does it have an age limit?
I'm not too sure about the age limit, but all that I know is that if you are going to enter, there are 3 different businesses in Ghana. We have the sole proprietor, we have the partnership, we have the company. So far as I know, before one can register a company, the person must be 18 years plus. I'm not too sure about partnership. For sole proprietorship, we can see people at the age of even 6, 7, 8. The ice water seller, but the Rosa is a business person. You know that?
Yeah.
Yes. So for companies, insofar as my knowledge says me right, you're supposed to be 18 years plus. But that with the others, I'm not too sure about it.
Okay. Thanks for that example. I think it brought it home to us. And then I think the last question before we call it a day, there's a follow-up question from you mentioning that we have to collaborate with somebody else if maybe you have a great idea and somebody has the power to finance it. And this is from Felix. He's asking that, what if your idea is stolen? Like you find somebody who has the money, and now you guys have to discuss it and then put it out there, and the person now steals the idea. How can you avoid all those things?
Well, you have to be very tactful. You have to be very tactful, because the idea is yours. You have the code. He has the money. If really the idea is yours, you have gone through several stages before you have been able to validate the idea, which he has not gone through. So that person is going to fail. But that is why in this instance, a serious business person enter into contract with people so that it will be binding. The person knows his roles and responsibilities. So when you enter into contract and the one party violates that contract, then the person, what they call it, is held accountable for violating the, what they call it, it is part of the contract. So that's the only way you can do. Apart from that, you need to be very tactful in dealing with the person so that the person doesn't steal your idea. For now, that's all that I can say.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug. This has been really, really, really insightful. We thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and then just coming to share these nuggets with us. For us who are thinking of starting businesses, or those who are already there but they don't know how to navigate their way around it. And then also we want to thank the participants. Thank you for your engagement. I think I see in the chat box, this is Jeremiah, is asking if we can have the slide. So this is being streamed live on YouTube, so you can go back there. I've placed our social platforms in the chat. So Mobile Web Ghana, follow us on WhatsApp, sorry, in our Facebook, Twitter, and then LinkedIn, and then our YouTube. Subscribe, and then you can get access to this session all over again. All right. And then we also have a WhatsApp group that we give updates for all our upcoming programs. And so you can also join. Okay, and then I think that we have Evans is applauding you, sir. Says he's really appreciating the wonderful presentation that you have made, and we re-echo that as well, that you've done a great job. And so thank you so much once again. And so till we come your way again, this is American Spaces Support Program, a program supported by the U.S. Embassy Ghana in partnership with Mobile Web Ghana, being the implementers of this project. And we will come your way again next week. Do have a great day. Bye.